Peace and prosperity. Be on to all who's listening, watching. It's your girl, Shaeranea, right? And I'm back with another video. And today, I just want to say the only way we can effectively love ourselves is if we're 100% honest, brutal, and truthful with ourselves. And the only way you could be one with yourself is you love yourself in your entirety and all aspects of who you really are. So let's not beat around the bush, guys. To accomplish the goal of being in love with you, to accomplish the goal of loving yourself, and the amazing feeling that comes with it, because it requires a process, and it requires time, and it requires you being willing to do so. The biggest thing about it is that when you come to face yourself, you come to face your inner darkness, your inner demons, your flaws, your mistakes, your wrongs, the things you would say to like people you love or just random people you don't know. Like the things that you know you need to work on and that you've been avoiding to work on for so long. And that because you're so focused on other things outside of you, like things that's outside of you, you whether you obtain it or not or gain it, it doesn't change. It's not something that you can change. I mean, you could change your environment by changing your entirety on the inside. The environment of your life is the reflection of how you are within. And I'm not gonna say the universe is like that because it reflects all of us. It takes a total of everybody and every mind around the world to be on the same concept, the same thinking, to vibrate at the highest of thinking. Like, this is why the BML is said to be the largest movement in history. Everybody's on the same mind concept. Everybody's thinking the same. Everybody has got up and said they're tired. They see it. They no longer can turn their heads to it. Now they can walk and march in the streets with the black people. So it's just taking accountability for yourself. Okay, because we're accountable for us long before we become accountable for anybody. And your accountability with you is a strong factor of how you'll be accountable when you have a child. Because if you're not very accountable for your mistakes and flaws, you could not be accountable for your own child's mistakes and flaws. Let me tell you. And it requires work. If you're not going to work for it, what's the purpose of even saying you want change? What I can't stand about people who identify the fact that they need to change is the fact that they know they need to, but they can't acknowledge why they need to change, why the change needs to be made, why it's affecting them, and why should that be something that they should change. They don't understand the reasons. Like, if you don't understand the lessons that you're intended to learn, why you're supposed to make these changes, and why the change needs to happen in you. What's the reason why you feel like you need to change certain aspects of who you are? That is accountability on your part. Your ability to identify why this is not good, why you should change, why this is important, it requires you to change. It's not enough to say that you need to change with no actions backing behind it. There's a lot of people in this world that speak about change, but it's a lot of people who expand this. And I think it's beautiful to expand your mind, but if you have no accountability backing it, you're just this walking, breathing room of information with no realistic actions to back it at all. Like, if you're not accountable for you, yet you could figure problems and solutions for other people, you can't solve your own problems. And you can't work in a manner of knowing, because knowing is acknowledging. You have to acknowledge what needs to be worked on. You have to fix what needs to be worked on, and you have to face them. Okay, because I have a short temper. I acknowledge that. I know some things I get really mad about. I get really angry about. Some things I am very patient, but it comes to times in my life where I've been like super patient about some things, and then I just trigger, I have triggers. I have flaws. I make mistakes, okay? I say things to people that I don't regret. And I don't reflect over my conversations because I intentionally say what I mean so that I never regret what I have ever said. I'm someone who lives with an intent of knowing that no matter what, I take full accountability of what I say, do, think, or know. And I take the intent of knowing that if I don't love myself properly or correctly, I can never love anybody else properly or correctly. So the total point about this is like, don't just acknowledge the fact that you need to change. You need to acknowledge the facts why you need to change, the lesson of why this change is important for you to change. Like, don't just acknowledge that you need to, because anybody can say, I need to change, but don't know the real reasons and why they need to change. And then to say that you need to change, but you really don't know the lessons or reasons why you should change, is like, it's like you don't really understand the concept of change. You have to understand the full concept of it, and you have to have actions to back it. So acknowledging, taking actions, and understanding why something is important is the power in learning how to love you, because you're taking proper steps to love your flaws and mistakes. And when you look at yourself, you think about the things that you've done, and you look at all the bad things, and you think that they're the worst thing ever, right? They're not. Okay, you don't have a real relationship with yourself. You think all the things you've done are the worst things ever. They're not. Honestly, you can write on paper right now all the things that you ever done wrong and all the things you ever done good. I promise you the good will outweigh the bad. And it never will be as bad as you make yourself believe. We make ourselves believe that life is a lot more worse than it really is. And if we take time to control the negativity that goes on inside ourselves and really work to love ourselves, and it requires work, because loving you requires you to love every aspect of you, and some people don't really love all that. Some people love the negative parts of them, the things that makes them happy, the things that don't make them guilty, the things that make them feel powerful. And sometimes crushing and crumbling people makes other people's happy. So it really just identifying what you need to work on and working on it, because that's a form of love. Being totally honest and brutally truthful with you, and not beating around the bush with yourself, because if you beat around the bush with you, you're going to beat around the bush with everybody. And 100% truth is just to do it, baby. We just got to learn how to do things regardless of how it may affect us. And I'm so glad that everybody's in a process of change, and that we're all learning to grow and adapt to new things. I love you guys. I hope you guys having a prosperous day. This video was not supposed to be long. And to effectively love yourself, it requires you to love all of you, accept all your flaws, face your darkest demons, your deepest secrets, your turmoil, your pains, anything that you neglected to do over the years. You need to face it all in order to fully, effectively be in love with yourself and love you completely with the greatest capacity of understanding. So, subscribe, like, comment, share if you're into this kind of stuff. But if you're not, it all requires a walk in the right direction. I am a spiritual woman, so it's all about spirituality for me and being honest, because even though I'm very spiritual, I'm very big on mindsets and big on the empowerment of the mind, because the mind rules all, and all won't matter until they know that they matter in their mind. And it all starts with you. So what do you plan to change? What difference are you planning to make? What do you plan to do for the rest of 2020 and the going in of 21? What differences are you going to make in yourself? What differences are you going to make in this world? What differences are you going to make in the life of your children, your husband, your companions, your friends, and things like that? So it's taking the obligation and accountability to step up and take and remove people and place and things out your life that no longer serve your purpose. But it's also acknowledging that sometimes things don't go the way you want them to, and even if they don't, you have to accept the outcomes because you knew there was 1,000 possibilities of how it could turn out. So that's real talk for you guys, and welcome to my channel if you're new here, and I love you guys.